So for Rivers State, the Navy, they don't fit the tests where people for they do illegal refineries. So Nigeria as a whole no gets place to refine oil, petrol oil, but there are places where people are doing illegal refinery. It's so simple. How are they doing it? It's just like the way our hood people we are doing oil, banga oil. You go let them boil. You go carry oil where you want carry for the chop. You go waste it down. It seems like I'm just saying it like that, but that is what it is. You understand? But you take a look. And this is a country where they cannot build a place. It's not that Nigeria is lacking the money to build a refinery. No, that is not the case of Nigeria. It's just because these people, and now they destroy everything. God. Now God then go punish Unasha.
Omai, do I have some interesting stories for you today. Good morning, viewers watching from all over the world. Starting in Rivers State, where the Nigerian Navy has discovered an illegal refining site with the capacity to produce 2 million liters of PMS daily. The refinery was discovered around Ogoloma, Bakana River in the Degema local government area. Over 500 cooking drums containing more than 200 liters of illegal refined oil have been destroyed so far. The illegal refinery had a pipeline connected to a nearby oil wellhead operated by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, used by suspected oil thieves to siphon crude oil for refining. Let's have a listen.
As the operation is still ongoing, they have destroyed over 500 drums containing over 200 liters of AGO, amounting to over 2 million liters of AGO. And the operation is still ongoing. The oil thieves has moved away from the normal way of using metal storage tank to cook and refine illegally stolen crude oil to AGOs and other byproducts. They are now using drums to do the refining, and that offers them some tactical advantage in the sense that the drums are cheaper to construct and very easy to dismantle.
Well, let's take a listen to what people have been saying. In Nigeria, rinse and repeat. It's the same thing every year. Why can't we just get a working refinery and employ the perpetrators to work there since they have that much talent? The next tweet there reads, if we don't invest, I'm sure Rotutu like this, if we don't invest more into AI and technology savvy individuals to checkmate the illegal refineries and crude oil theft, coupled with our perennial gas emissions or flaring of gas, while not even a foothold into curtailing the disastrous climate change crisis looming from the occurring factors herewith. The last tweet there reads, how many barrels can be refined from leaking pipes? The real thieves are those who make whole super tankers disappear, those with allocated oil wells, and those who manipulate loading and revenue figures. Let them keep uncovering what is already exposed. Your thoughts?
Look, I have a thing, and I'm glad that somebody on YouTube backs me up, because I was about to say, why are they destroying these things? You can seize them. This is T-Bugs. Destroyed, Abi. Y'all can't manage it for public use. That's T-Bugs on our YouTube. We are literally having fuel scarcity right now. I don't know about the destruction. You can seize it and then put it back in the market. But look, kudos to them. Oil theft is an issue. We need to get our oil production back to 2 million barrels per day or more. So the security authorities, I give them their flowers. They are working on it. But the destruction of the fuel that you need, that's the part that I'm a little iffy on.
I'm so sorry, but before you come in, I just want to take this so that we can have the conversation with both sides. Now, in Ghana, for example, Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo has broken ground on the construction of a 300,000 barrel per day oil refinery that the government hopes will turn the West African country into the region's petroleum hub. However, it's perceived that the move is to rival Nigeria, which is expected to become a petroleum product supply hub when its refineries with a capacity of over 1 million barrels per day come online. Ghana, of course, is the world's second biggest cocoa producer and became an oil producer just in 2010, and its output right now is around 132,000 BPD of crude oil and about 325 million standard cubic feet per day of natural gas. So when you look at Nigeria and Ghana, you look at that comparison. Ayo.
Okay, so many things to say. First of all, let me just say that the residents around the proposed site for the refinery are complaining. And so they're protesting that they'd like it to be reduced, that it's too big. So maybe they might have a challenge in actually actualizing that. But the truth is, again and again, when countries are not blind, when they see an opportunity that is not utilized by another country, they swoop in. And don't forget that Ghana and Nigeria share a number of things in common, aside from the fact that we're neighbors. There are also many other opportunities. One thing that we have as an advantage is our population numbers and the strength and the size of our economy. That's something that we haven't yet maxed. Therefore, even comparing us, to be honest, with all due respect to our Ghanaian viewers, to Ghana, you can't compare us in terms of population, size of the economy, biggest black nation in the world. We can't compare, but they keep on trying to compete with us because they have other things that are working in their favor, an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. And that's why some investors would rather go to Ghana, where the business climate is a bit more stable, than coming here to Nigeria. And talking about that, this is where we bring into question the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. It's 1 year in office yesterday, where I was going to, during the newspaper review session, evaluate the performances of our ministers and for them to show working what they've done. How have they made the Nigerian environment attractive for investors to come, and all those trips that they've made abroad. We cannot compete, and with all due respect again to Ghana, we should be, they are big, but they should be taking notes from us. We have a 650,000 barrels per day capacity refinery in Nigeria. What are we doing with that? Instead, we are fighting against the progress of this refinery, and very soon our neighbors will see the opportunity, they're swooping on it, and investors will see a more stable climate to go in there, pump their money in, and it's sad for what the potentials for Nigeria. Now, going back to the oil theft, whilst I commend the Navy for this, I also would say that these are surface level. What we really want is for them to apprehend the people behind this. You cannot, it's not, people who don't have work or the community members that are doing this. When you see how big the potential of this illegal refinery is, you would know that there are big wigs backing it. It's those ones that we want them to uncover, because some of them, we talk about intelligence a lot. That's the real win, so that we can prevent this. I mean, we cannot. Crime will be there, but we want to ensure that they are not just coming and celebrating this. Okay, we caught the refinery, we are burning. Like I agree with Rotus, they will destroy. Who are the people behind? Let them investigate, and let the people that they apprehend lead them to the bigger fish. That's what we want.
Definitely. Rufai.
So for me, I'll slightly differ as regards the Ghana story, because the facts I'm seeing are not viable. Number one, the biggest argument is the fact that refinery is not viable. And what they are saying is the fact that Nana Akufo-Addo just wants to use that as land grabbing. Ghana churns out 173,000 barrels per day. This refinery is over 300,000 barrels. Feedstock is going to be a big problem, number one. Secondly, the funding. I see a lot of Chinese funding and I get scared again. Only to think that they're just about to sell our you-know-what, and they're talking about that on eBay. Experts have also looked at the funding model and how the refinery is going to be sustained, and they're raising a lot of concerns. In fact, there's an expert group in the reportage on This Day Today that deliberately, a think tank group, I think a Mani group, that deliberately did a study on it and saw that it was not viable. Thirdly, and this is my greatest fear, Rotus, if you remember, what plunged Ghana into high inflation and economic impasse was because the Ghanaian government has managed the licensing for the crude oil wells. And when they wanted to take it back, they had to pay the people that initially paid for the wells to be able to grab it back. And that made them expend a lot of money. Fourthly, Ghana is 73 billion GDP. This refinery is 12 billion GDP. In a case of default or something, do you want Ghana to be paying 1/5 of its GDP on this? I mean, these are the factors we should look at. I get the argument about prosperity of Africa, and I think Africa should also wake up and do great things for themselves. And I want Ghana to thrive. And I think they've been other refineries in the works. But I'm just saying that we should look at this very strongly. And as regards the crude oil theft, like Ayo, you said rightly, the truth has to be said. The main people that are doing crude oil theft are not the ones the Navy is always bringing up with this illegal refinery, ramshackle refinery. What about those that are carrying crude oil in big ship barges and vessels and are going across the creek and all of that? What about those people? Those people are not the ones that Chantita is running around with boats for. The people are the ones that sit in their offices, are the people, the likes of Agboni Iwa, went to do a research in America, and he saw how those oils were docking in America. So it's a long chain of corruption. This is blood crude we have in Nigeria, just like blood diamonds. So number one, the solution should be, can we also institute something like a Kimberley process that was used for blood diamonds to be able to track Nigeria crude wherever it goes, anywhere in the world, at first, so that the foreign collaborators could also be brought to book, because it's a big ecosystem and it's a big chain. And the West too knows about it. They are also part of those stealing our crude.
All right, then, let's move on to our next story. Chinese investors from the Zhongshan Fengsheng Industrial Investment Limited are moving forward with plans to sell 2 Nigerian-owned guest houses in Liverpool for a whopping $2.2 million. The properties located at 15 Egbert Hall Road and 49 Calderstones Road were not classified as diplomatic assets, making them eligible for seizure as the investors aim to recover up to $70 million from an arbitration ruling issued in 2021. Just last week, a French court seized 3 jets owned by the Nigerian government amid a long-standing dispute with the company. Despite Nigeria's attempts to claim sovereign immunity, European courts have granted enforcement orders allowing Zhongshan to pursue the recovery of assets in the UK, Belgium, France, and other countries.
There's a saying that the beatings will continue until morale improves. So you have to honor contracts. Make sure that you follow them through to the letter of what you signed. Because we had a great guest, a son that came in here. We were talking about it, and I asked him, "Are they going to fly into Ogun State to seize?" I said, "They can't." So they will go systematically around the world and pick these assets up. It's a lesson learned, unfortunately.
Okay, so the debate here is whether or not the buildings are immune to being captured by the Chinese. If it's property of state or used for diplomatic purposes, then they cannot. Now, what the Nigerian side is saying is that it's a residence of our consular services, our ambassadors in the United Kingdom. But what the judge ruled, or the masters ruled during the arbitration, was that one of the buildings has been dilapidated for 34 years. Is in a state of ruin. Another has been leased out for 34 years. Therefore, they cannot convince the courts or the arbitrators that it is state-owned building. And this is where exactly. So you cannot last minute now come and say, "Oh no, it's that we're using it for this," when it hasn't been in use. So we're just wasting resources even abroad. And this show, it's embarrassing. And let me just highlight again that what we've been calling for and what we are hopeful is that there will be a diplomatic resolution to this. The court was also saying that they took advantage of the timeline for arbitration when they could have appealed. So it's this anyhowness, not taking responsibility, and the outcome of this way it becomes an international embarrassment. I'm hoping that we will not see Nigerian properties on eBay. It is embarrassing.
That would be very embarrassing. Well, let's take if you want to just quickly comment, 2 minutes, Rifai. I'm giving you 2 minutes.
Okay, so I'll give kudos to TVC. TVC did a very proper investigative job this morning, where they went to Igbesa. Actually, the free trade zone is in Igbesa.
Yeah.
And they discovered that over 40 companies and thereabouts and things like that are working there, and things are working. But I think where we should really look at is the interplay that happened between the administration of Amosu and the preceding administration. Who were the ones that brought this Fengsheng in? We have not answered that question. Because the same Fengsheng that when things did not go their way are now the ones taking Nigeria. So, because originally we heard that place was supposed to be a partnership between China, Investment, Nigeria, and all that. So who first backed that Fengsheng in? We need to get an investigative job on that, because that's the root cause of everything that we are facing today.